Welcome to No Gentle Trophy, the channel formerly known as Guncle Tarot. My name is Brian Griffin. Today I'm going to do a quick recap of the past year or so and a look forward to Guncle Tarot 2026. Followers know that the main focus of my life for the past 2 years has been my mental health and getting married and sponsoring my husband's application to be a permanent resident in Canada so that we can move up there ASAP. When I moved to Ohio 30 years ago, I fully intended to retire back to Canada some future day. That day is now. So this is not just a response to the current dumpster fire down here, although that certainly has hastened increased our desire to get out of here. I'm a third generation cross-border family, so moving back and forth happens regularly in our family. But my two sisters and all their descendants are in southwestern Ontario. My brother is in Minnesota, but I expect that he will soon come back to Canada too. So that's been a big focus, my mental health. I masked the entirety of my life except my sexual orientation pretty much from the moment of birth for reasons we've gotten into on my blog at briangriffin.com for those who are interested, or in any of the previous mental health updates. So last year and part of 2024, I suspended Guncle Post regular mailing of physical cards and interpretations to focus on these other things. I will be bringing Guncle Post back in the new year. I will be doing it quarterly next year. And so the first new moon of each quarter, I will shuffle cards and pull 2 tarot and 1 oracle as a 3-card reading that will go into an envelope. So I go through the decks. Then I will pull them all out over the next week to write out the reading that I get from that and mail those off. They will be mailed from here in Ohio until we move, and then they'll be mailed from Ontario. Subscriptions are open at guncletarot.com. There are plenty of links to Guncle Post on that main page, and there'll be a link in the show notes, or excuse me, in the description. So as an example, I pulled out, I saved one of my very first Guncle Post. That one was a single tarot, single oracle originally, and that first mailing featured, as most of my mailings do, print-on-demand decks from the Game Crafter. So this was the tarot deck I ordered, and this was the oracle deck. These are both jumbo cards, 3.5 by 5.5. So again, I matched them up, and then I did a sheet. You'll see at the top of the sheet, pre-printed with information on the deck where it's available and some notes on the creator, and then a custom reading for in this case, 2 cards, and going forward 3 cards that I pulled. So those get all written up, put in envelopes, and then names attached at quote-unquote at random, and sent off to the post office. I'm going to start with quarterly and make sure that I can add that into my life without major disruption. So that's going to be the big thing. Again, subscriptions are available 1 month, 1 mailing, 2 mailings, or all 4 mailing. Again, guncletarot.com. The other thing I'm going to do is I've decided that I do want to get back to adding content, tarot content specifically on this channel. So I am going to do deck reviews. This is not a flip through. I am going to take decks, and they're all going to be available print on demand, generally speaking, the Game Crafter. There is another international site. I don't love them for a lot of reasons. And just as an example, here is a print on demand deck. That's one of my regulars. It's called the Sweeney Tarot. So it's a full deck, standard 2 3/4 by 4 3/4 inch cardstock. And so I will go through and look at all of the things I like and don't like about the deck, the features that make this different than other tarot decks. Unfortunately, this one is nice. You can also buy separately a guidebook and talks about some of the features. In this particular one, there are recurring characters from card to card, and they're identified in the book, so you can see how that affects or doesn't affect how you interpret cards, some of the symbols used on it, etc. So look for that in 2026 deck reviews of print-on-demand decks. And of course, they're going to be decks I use, therefore they're going to be overall positive reviews because I'm using them because I like them. If you are a creator of a print-on-demand deck, whether it's through the Game Crafter or MPC or anybody else who might be doing it, and you want to send me a deck for review, reach out, let me know. If you're using print on demand and you can't afford to do a whole bunch of review copies, I understand. I have my own decks through Game Crafter, and a discount code would certainly be equally appreciated because I'm on fixed income Social Security, so we can talk about that some other time. So that is a very, very quick look at the last year or so, and another quick look at going forward. The focus has been on Guncle Post and the deck reviews. I continue to offer individual readings at guncletarot.com, and I continue to post my photography, designs, graphic, t-shirts, snarky, and otherwise. All information about all those other projects of mine are also online at digitalgriffindesign.com. Griffin spelled like my last name. Again, there will be links. So it's a real quick look, update, future forecast. I am looking very forward to 2026, to Guncle Tarot, to Guncle Post, to deck reviews, to moving back surrounded by the biologicals who have always accepted and loved me exactly the way I am, whatever that means. Thanks for watching.